Hello. Hello and good evening. We will wait for a couple of minutes before we start the feature discussion for today. This feature discussion is on the topic urban planning. It's a very important topic, and today we will discuss this, a holistic article in itself. We will understand the various aspects of urban planning. So we'll wait for a couple of minutes. Till that time, all I would like you to do is after discussion of these featured news, you can start noting down the keywords while you pause the video. That's fine, or towards the end you remember them and put them down at a place. This will help you to write an answer. Even if you don't write an answer, it will help you to frame these points in your mind, and this is how you will be able to reproduce whenever a person asks a question about urban planning, right? So this is how a holistic article, featured news, provides you an information. Hello, good evening. Okay. We will start in 1 minute. This featured news is available on Edukemy's website, and on this website, if you go into the section for the resources, this is where you will be able to find current affairs, and on that you will be able to find this complete featured news for today. You can also download the PDF by registering on the website. Okay. Okay. Okay, let's start. Now, today's featured news, that is the one for 21st of September, is on urban planning. This topic assumes a lot of significance for a country like India. India's 60% GDP is from the 30% people living in the urban areas. So as much as 60% of GDP, a humongous amount, comes from the people living in urban areas. This is the importance of urban areas. The census, which records the urban areas and rural areas, it says that urban population is the one where there are more than 5,000 persons living, with 400 persons per square kilometer, and at least 75% of the area with male working population in non-agricultural activities. So this is designated as a urban area according to census in the country. Now, you may want to understand what are the areas which cross this particular parameter, right? Now, very simply, if stated, it is 30%. This is what has been recognized by the government. But the informal statistics say that India would have almost reached 50% urbanization informally. Why? Because India's population density itself, average is around 350 plus average. So you can well imagine, we have not put these places, rural places, under urban list, although they are already urban. They are engaged in a lot of urban activities, and population density both are humongous. So for these areas as well, which if not now but in the coming time will be recognized as urban spaces, it is important that urban planning be done for these areas, right? Not just this, India is destined to be the most populated country in the world by the year 2027, and the maximum growth in population in the coming 2 decades will be there from urban areas only in India. So when we have already started to see what is the possible crisis in urban spaces, why not start planning for them? So this is the reason that NITI Aayog has released a report called as Reforms in Urban Planning Capacity in India. This is a 150-page report, and we will try to summarize the report. Not only that, we will also present to you what are the shortcomings in urban planning in India, what is actually required in an urban planning setup, and what is the way out in India's context, right? So let us understand. Now, India is the second largest urban system in the world. Which is the first largest? Yes, of course, it is China. Because China not only has a lot of population, it also has got an enormous amount of urban population. And this is the urban population which is leading its growth, right? So growth in economic activities, right? India is expected to be formally urbanized, which is 30% right now, formally urbanized by up to 50% within the coming 2 decades. By 2050, we will be more than 50% urbanized, right? And in fact, Delhi city, which houses around Delhi conglomerate, this urban area, which houses around 3 crore plus people, this is the second largest conglomerate after Tokyo. So so this is the reason that we must understand what is urban planning and how it is done. So urban planning is basically about quality of life of all the people living in the area. Quality of life. So what are we talking of? We are talking of health. We are talking of spare time. We are talking of the quality of life in terms of the air we breathe. We are talking of rejuvenation. So we want parks. We want to have social spaces, right? So these are the important requirements for having a better quality of life. And this is what ideally a good urban space constitutes. Not only quality of life, it also must provide economy. Why? Because everybody will not have finances to be able to enjoy this quality without earning. So we need earning, and for earning we need industrialized spaces. We need industries, we need service sector growth. So we need jobs, we need skills, we need diversification. This is what economy is largely about, right? So this is the traditional economy I'm talking of. Along with that, mobility. Just yesterday we studied in one of the editorials that in Japan, ideal time of movement for one person is 30 minutes, hardly 30 minutes per day. So when they have to commute for a job and come back, 30 minutes is what they take. And whereas in India, it takes around 2 hours in an urban setup like Delhi, Bangalore, for people to turn around from their office to their homes. So mobility, ease of mobility is one thing. Then time of mobility is another thing. Third, cost of mobility. Now in Delhi, one good example is Delhi Metro. We have built Delhi Metro Rail Corporation, but this is not an inclusive metro service. Why? Because the cost is too much for a normal casual daily wage worker to board this metro, right? So they board this metro only for luxury, right? So this is how mobility also is a part of the urban space. Availability of amenities. A lot of people migrate to urban areas, especially to enjoy the amenities. So good schooling is one amenity. Good medical facilities, another one. What about rejuvenation? So these are the kind of amenities every urban space looks for. If there is scope for quality of life, economy, mobility, amenities is automatic. If people have finances, they will want to enjoy amenities. These are the traditional concepts of an urban space. However, all the new concepts, for example, the inclusion of climate change, right? So inclusion of climate change parameters and how it can be adapted to. So one is adaptation and the second one is resilience. So adapting and resilient being climate change. So this is one important parameter for it. What about creating a circular economy? An economy which has solid waste management, liquid waste management, management of crisis and natural disasters. So these are the important new components of urban management which have come into existence lately. We are talking about sustainable cities management. So these are the important ingredients which form what an urban planning should ideally constitute. So one good example is that of the Master Plan Delhi 2041. And we have discussed this in one of the featured news. So all you want to type is Master Plan Delhi Edukemy on Google. You will find that article. If you put that on YouTube as well, Master Plan Delhi Edukemy, you will be able to find that article. So in that article, we discussed how Delhi has created its master plan. One good simple example is when this is Delhi, the central business district, we are talking of Connaught Place area and the increased sphere of influence of Delhi. So there is a ring road and then there is an outer ring road. So one ring road and then there is an outer ring road, and at both the places they have built these green corridors. So these green corridors ensure that the desertification of the city does not happen when when the incoming summer waves come into Delhi in the form of Loo, and they carry these dust particles. These trees ensure that Delhi remains free largely of this dust, so decreases desertification. Then there's another way in which Delhi has planned this urbanization, that is planning blue ways along the green ways. What is this? So this is a part of Delhi Master Plan 2041. Very good example. Wherever you find the municipal liquid waste, so we are talking of the sewages. Along the sewages, plant trees. If we have trees planted at the sewages, the trees will also grow. They will also absorb the amount of the biota that is present in the sewage, and they will have productive growth. They will also spur a green kind of economy in Delhi region, right? So this is one good example of what planning can lead to in a city, right? But there are several challenges. Let us understand some of the important challenges. One important challenge of any urban space, especially in India, is that it is unrecognized. So if we say 50% of India could be urbanized, what is recognized is only 30% right now. Rest of the area is not officially recognized. So where are the funds? We don't have the funds because government will treat that area as rural, right? Delhi is mostly urbanized, but yes, villages in the name of city, villages also exist in Delhi, right? Multiplicity of authority. Now every point that you communicate in exam has to be aided with example. So Delhi's example, very simple example, is that of the water authority. Who is the authority for water in Delhi? Is it the Delhi Jal Board? Is it the Ministry of Water Resources? That means Ministry of Jal Shakti. Or is it the Central Pollution Control Board, CPCB, which is responsible for ensuring that there is no pollution in water, right? So since it is many people's responsibilities, it is no person's accountability. So this water authority is one that goes in the dustbin. So multiplicity of authority is one question that all the urban areas face. It is not just about Mumbai. We are talking about Mahada. We are talking about Mumbai, Brihan Mumbai Municipal Corporation. Multiplicity of authorities, right? Similarly, human resources. Human resources are either migrant, they are not skilled, we are dependent on others, right? We think that if we provide finances, people will be able to help. So people participation is a very important concept while we try to manage urban spaces, because largely they are dense spaces, and dense spaces require more cooperation amongst the public. So this is one important issue. And collection of revenue. Yesterday itself we studied how much is the total spending of revenue by the local authorities. Since they are not able to collect their own finances, they rely on the central government, they rely on the state government for giving revenues, not giving the participation important revenues here. Not only that, they are not given important power, they are not made the accountable authorities. So this is why the urban landscapes largely remain out of reach for development. And this is where the government has said that they will be providing planning for the urban areas. The NITI Aayog talks of reforms in urban planning capacity in India. This is the feature news about for today. Now, getting back to the ancient times, if we see, planning has always been a part of India's culture. We see a very good amount of urban planning in Indus Valley civilization. Remember those square, the homes and grid pattern of homes? A very beautiful system of drainage. This is a very good example. Then you're talking of the Mauryan times, where the city was very well planned. The Mauryan city was very well planned. After that, Mughal era, the remnants still remain in the form of Mughal gardens. Look at all the architecture that Mughals have left. They are planned carefully. And after that, the British era, we see the increased number of ports, the number of ports which have been planned well, and the city area, especially the town area, military towns, they have been planned so well. So India does have a culture of urban planning. However, this time when we see increased urbanization, all is needed is to put remarkable thrust on urban planning, right? And this is where NITI Aayog suggests some important measures. One important measure it suggests is presence of 500 city health program. So this is the first important thing. This you must write as a keyword, right? So this is about 500 health cities program. This is one important thing NITI Aayog suggests. It says that the vacant positions in city administration must be fulfilled. They should be filled, because that is how the urban bodies will be running in full capacity. Also, accountability of each administrator must be fixed. So when we spoke of misplaced accountability, roles and responsibilities of each Authority under government must be fixed well. Why? Because they are not only accountable, they're also getting paid of the taxpayers' money. So they must be chiefly accountable for some work that they do, right? Then it is talking of building local leadership. It is very important to build local leadership. The prime reason for this is that it is the locals who live there for a longer period of time. The bureaucrats and civil servants, they come for a reasonable tenure and they get posted out. But local leadership is something that provides vision to the place, right? This is important. And then the government cannot participate fully. It is the private sector which will have to come into aid, right? So private sector investment is very important game changer here, right? For urban scale development. These are some of the important recommendations of NITI Aayog. Along with that, the conclusion for this article could be something like, India is at a very important tipping point. This tipping point is where the rural to urban transformation is going to happen for the country. And therefore, the focus must not be small. The vision must be far-sighted. To build this far-sighted vision, India must have a integrated urban planning for sustainable development of Indian cities. Now, we discussed in enormous details what are the various aspects of urban planning. We also understood what are the shortcomings, some major shortcomings here. We also understood what is in specific significance for India in urban planning, because India is going to become a highly urbanized country, right? We discussed examples in the beginning of Delhi. We discussed examples of how India is going to get urbanized in the coming 2 decades. So these are the kind of facts which will give emphasis to your answer on urban planning. So all you got to do is take 30 seconds and after that answer this question. The question says, explain the need for developing an effective urban planning. Discuss the challenges to urban planning and ways to resolve these challenges, right? Now, this live discussion right now comes to almost a conclusion. We will meet tomorrow again live at 6:30 and we will discuss another feature, another holistic article in its completion. And till then, all I got to tell you is keep studying. The pre-exam is very close, and be at home, keep safe, keep revising the content that you have already prepared. Along with that, watch the feature and the Gazette discussion, and share some likes. Subscribe to the channel if you want to receive this video live. Thanks for watching.